They said I had to earn my place in the family, after I'd already paid for everyone's place. I bought the house. I paid the bills. But when I finally asked for something, they laughed. My brother said, "You live here for free, don't push it." Free? I was the only reason that house still had a roof. "You're lucky we let you stay here." They always said I was lucky. Lucky to have a roof over your head. Lucky we took you in. Lucky we didn't ask for rent. Funny how luck never felt so heavy. Let me rewind. My name's Alex. I'm 28. And for the last 5 years I lived in the same house with my mom, my older brother Nick, his wife Chelsea, and their 2 kids. Not because I couldn't make it on my own. Not because I was mooching. But because I was paying. For everything. It started after my dad passed away unexpectedly. He had a heart attack in the middle of a grocery run. He didn't even make it to checkout. Just dropped, gone. My mom fell apart. Nick moved back in to help. Then brought Chelsea. Then the kids. Then slowly the bills started shifting. "We're a family now," Nick said. "We'll all contribute." Except they didn't. Chelsea stayed home. Nick said he was between jobs, but somehow always had money for new sneakers, streaming services, and poker nights. So I covered what needed covering. At first I didn't mind. My job paid okay. I worked remote in IT, nothing flashy. But I believed in family. I believed we took care of each other. I paid the mortgage, under mom's name but always on my card. I paid for repairs. When the furnace broke, when the plumbing leaked, when the dishwasher flooded the kitchen. I paid for the kids' school supplies, field trip fees, even their Halloween costumes. One day my niece came up to me with a drawing she made. Stick figures holding hands. She pointed to one and said, "That's Uncle Alex. He's the one who buys the good cereal." I laughed. But something inside me cracked a little. 'Cause yeah, I was the guy who bought the cereal, the milk, the eggs, the Wi-Fi, the water, the electricity. Everything in that house ran through me. And yet, I wasn't really part of it. It got worse during the holidays. Chelsea was planning Christmas. I just transferred another $2,400 for the property taxes. She said, "We'll split costs for gifts, right?" I blinked. "I've been covering the bills for 3 months straight." He shrugged. "That's your choice." Nick chimed in, "Don't make everything about money, man." Money? I hadn't bought myself a new jacket in 2 years. I was still wearing my old winter coat with the busted zipper. But I kept swallowing it. For Mom. Because every time I tried to bring it up, she'd say, "Let's not fight. Your brother's going through a hard time." Funny. I'd been going through a hard time for years. No one seemed to notice. Then came the moment. The moment everything snapped. It was a regular Thursday night. I was exhausted. Been working late on a server outage. I walked into the kitchen and there they were, Nick, Chelsea, and Mom sitting around the table laughing. I asked if there was dinner. Chelsea looked at me and said, "Oh, there's some leftover noodles in the fridge. Unless you want to chip in for takeout next time." I stared at her. Then Nick said it. The line that burned into my brain. "You live here rent-free, man. Don't push it." I felt everything go silent. Rent-free? Rent-free? My name wasn't on the deed, sure. But my money was on every damn bill. I was the reason this place still had lights. I was the reason their kids had heat in winter. I was the reason that mortgage hadn't defaulted. And he said that? I didn't say a word. I turned, walked out, and went to my room. And that night, I started a spreadsheet. Every expense. Every payment. Every month I covered their part and mine. As I was done being quiet. It's just money, right? I didn't sleep that night. I sat in front of my laptop for hours, scrolling through my bank statements, dragging every transaction into a spreadsheet. Mortgage. Utilities. Groceries. School fees. $120 here. $80 there. $300 for a car repair I never drove. Thousands and thousands. By 3:30 a.m. I was shaking. Not from anger, not yet. From shame. Because somehow I'd let it happen. I'd normalized it. Like I owed them. The next morning I made coffee. No one was up yet. I sat at the kitchen table staring at my budget when Mom walked in. She gave me a tired smile. "Up early again, honey?" I nodded. My voice was calm. "Mom, we need to talk." She blinked. "Okay. I can't keep paying for everything. I've been covering the mortgage, all the utilities, groceries." "Well, you live here too." "I know," I interrupted. But I'm the only one paying. Nick hasn't had a job in over a year. Chelsea's never worked. And you've been pretending not to see it. Her face fell. She opened her mouth, probably to say I was overreacting, but I kept going. I added it all up. In 5 years I've spent over $46,000 on this house. And I never once complained. But last night he said I lived here rent-free. Silence. Mom looked down. Nick didn't mean it like that. Then how did he mean it? She didn't answer. I stood, walked away and left the spreadsheet open on the kitchen table. Later that day Nick barged into my room. No knock. What's this passive-aggressive crap? He threw my printed spreadsheet at me. Kept my voice even. It's facts. He laughed. You're acting like you're some kind of saint. I'm acting like someone who's had enough. Oh please, he scoffed. You choose to pay. Nobody forced you. You let your family live off me like I'm a paycheck. Chelsea and I are raising kids. So am I snapped. I'm raising them too every time I keep the water running and lights on while you sit on the couch all day. He took a step closer. You better watch your tone. I stood up. Or what, Nick? You'll hit me? Throw me out. He grinned. Maybe I should. This isn't even your house. That line. This isn't even your house. Not after all the bills. Not after fixing the roof leak. Not after paying the taxes, twice. Not after I postponed my own future to keep this place going. I could have moved out years ago. Gotten my own apartment. Traveled. Dated. But every time I tried, someone needed something. Alex, can you help with rent this month? Alex, the fridge stopped working. Alex, we're short on diapers. And every time I stepped up. Because I thought that's what family did. I stared him dead in the eye. You're right. This isn't my house. And I meant it differently now. This wasn't my home anymore. That night I emailed a lawyer. I'd co-signed a loan on the house years ago back when Dad died. They needed me for refinancing. My name wasn't on the deed, but it was on the loan agreement. And that gave me leverage. The next day I handed my family a printed letter. Not a rant. Just a notice. Effective next month, I will no longer be paying for the mortgage or any household bills not under my name. I will also be vacating the premises within 30 days. This is non-negotiable. I suggest you begin preparing to assume your financial responsibilities. Chelsea gasped. Are you serious? Nick laughed. You think you can just walk out and leave us in the dirt? Mom looked scared. Not angry. Not defensive. Just afraid. Because for the first time, maybe ever, she realized I was done being their safety net. Nick said it again, softer this time. This isn't your house. And I smiled. Exactly. You'll regret walking away from us. Packing my room didn't take long. That's the thing about living in a place where you're treated like a guest. You never really settle in. My clothes fit into 2 suitcases. My books into a single box. Laptop, charger, hard drive. Done. No trophies on the shelves. No photos on the walls. Just a worn-out mattress, a desk, and the quiet echo of a life spent paying rent in silence. My little nephew came in while I was folding shirts. 6 years old. Eyes too big for his face. He held his Captain America toy by one arm. Are you going somewhere, Uncle Alex? I smiled softly. Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna live somewhere else now. He frowned. But who's gonna do pancakes on Sundays? That hit me. Every Sunday I made pancakes for the kids while Nick and Chelsea slept in. It was the only time I saw Liam smile without a screen in front of him. I crouched down. Your mom and dad can do pancakes too. He tilted his head. But they never do. I didn't know what to say. So I just hugged him. He pulled back and asked, Are you mad at us? No, sweetheart. I just need my own space now. He nodded like he understood, even though he didn't. And that's what hurt most. He was just a kid. Not his fault he was being raised by 2 people who thought sacrifice meant letting someone else carry the load. Mom tried to guilt-trip me the next day. She came into my room with a basket of folded laundry and didn't say anything at first. Then softly, You don't have to go. We can work something out. I shook my head. I already did, Mom. For 5 years. Tears welled in her eyes. I'm getting older, Alex. It's hard to keep this house up without your help. I looked at her, really looked. The woman who used to pack my lunchboxes, cheer at my soccer games, braid my hair when I let it grow too long. She was tired. And in denial. You let Nick weaponize this house against me, I said gently. You watched me carry everything, and when I finally said no, you called it betrayal. I didn't mean. You didn't stop him. She sat down on my bed. You were always the strong one. That phrase. That curse. Strong equals silent. Strong equals invisible. Strong equals will dump everything on you and call it love. You raised me to take care of people, I said. But you didn't raise Nick the same way. She didn't answer. Because she knew I was right. Chelsea cornered me by the stairs later. I hope you know you're tearing this family apart. I laughed. Really? I thought I was the only one holding it together. You think you're better than us because you have a job? No, I said. I think I deserved respect. And I'm finally done begging for it. She scoffed. Fine. Go. Run away. I'm not running, I said. I'm choosing myself for once. And it felt light. Like shedding a 100-pound coat I didn't know I was wearing. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment the following week. Tiny kitchen. Creaky floors. Rent wasn't cheap. But it was mine. The first night, I slept on the floor with a rolled-up hoodie as a pillow and cheap takeout next to me. And still, I felt more peace than I ever had in the house I lived in rent-free. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Mom. She sounded panicked. Nick lost his job. We're behind on the mortgage. They shut off the Wi-Fi and the kids. I waited. She didn't ask directly. But I heard it in her voice. The expectation. The unspoken ask. And for the first time in my life, I didn't flinch. Mom, I said calmly. You're going to have to figure it out. I'm not your safety net anymore. She went quiet. Then, barely a whisper, I don't know what we're going to do. I didn't either for 5 years. But I managed. She didn't say goodbye. He just left his mother to struggle alone. People always say, family's family. No matter what. But I learned that's only true if you keep your mouth shut. The second you stand up and say, no more, you become the villain in your own family's story. Started with a Facebook post. Chelsea, of course. A photo of my mom looking sad at the kitchen table holding a coffee cup. Caption. Some people only remember their family when they need something, but forget who raised them. Just heartbreaking. Over 100 likes. A flood of comments. Ah, poor Aunt Linda. You deserve better. I don't know the full story, but if I had a son like that. Shameful. Kids these days have no loyalty. And just like that, I was the bad guy. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't want to. Believe me, I typed 3 different responses. But I deleted them all. I was done explaining myself to people who'd already picked a side. Then the calls started. First from Aunt May. Alex, honey, what's going on? I saw the post. You didn't really abandon your mom, did you? I took a breath. I supported her, Nick, and the whole house for 5 years. I covered everything. I finally stopped. That's it. She hesitated. But why not just keep helping if you can? That's what family does. No, I said. That's what I did. No one else. Next it was my cousin Jared. Bro, I get it. But did you have to make such a big scene? I laughed bitterly. Scene? I left quietly. They made it a show. He paused. Nick says you threatened to evict them. I blinked. I stopped paying their bills. But you're still on the loan. And I told them they'd need to take over payments. That's not a threat. That's adulthood. He didn't respond. Just mumbled something and hung up. Every day a new jab. A new twist. I heard from a mutual friend that Chelsea told people I stole money from the family. That I manipulated Mom into signing financial documents. That I bullied Nick about his unemployment. None of it was true. But truth didn't matter. All they had to do was weaponize the image of the ungrateful son. And people swallowed it whole. Because the truth is boring. No one wants to hear about spreadsheets and late-night budget planning and years of silent sacrifice. People want drama. Villains. Betrayal. But here's the thing. Even though it hurt. Even though I cried after that first call from Aunt May, I didn't go back. Because every person who guilt-tripped me, not one of them had ever sent a dime to help. Not one had been there when I sat alone in my room at 2 a.m., trying to figure out how to stretch my paycheck to cover both the mortgage and groceries. Not one had stepped in when I was carrying a family of 5 on a single income. One night I got a voicemail from Mom. He sounded tired. Different. Alex, I didn't ask her to post that. I didn't want this. I just miss you. I know I didn't stand up for you when I should have. I'm sorry. I know I failed you too. I sat there, phone to my ear, listening to that message 3 times. Because for the first time in years, it sounded like my mom again. Not Nick and Chelsea's echo. I didn't call her back right away. I wasn't ready. Because even if she meant every word, even if she truly saw me now, it didn't erase the years of being invisible in plain sight. And I needed time to learn who I was without carrying other people's weight. They don't get to rewrite what they did to me. Took me a long time to accept something simple. Just because you do anything for someone, doesn't mean they do the same for you. After Mom's voicemail, I didn't respond. Not out of cruelty, but because I didn't know how to step back into that house. Not when I could still feel the weight of their demands on my shoulders. I was living in a small studio by then. Tiny kitchen, 1 window, no couch, but it was mine. For the first time in years, I could walk through a door that didn't echo with guilt. No lights left on because no one paid the bill. No mess to clean up from people who said, "You've got it handled." Just silence. Beautiful, healing silence. The first night I slept there, I cried. Not because I was sad, but because I wasn't carrying anyone else's sleep anymore. A week later, I got a message from my former boss. "You still looking for work? Got something part-time, remote. Flexible hours." I nearly dropped my phone. I hadn't told anyone I'd left the house. Hadn't applied to jobs yet. But here it was. A door cracked open. I said yes. The first paycheck didn't cover much, but it covered me. And that felt like more than I'd earned in 5 years of working double shifts for everyone else. I started to reclaim little things. Groceries with my own taste, not what Mom wanted. Waking up when I wanted, not because Nick needed the car. Sleeping without anxiety, knowing my stomach. Freedom in its smallest, sweetest forms. But still, some nights were hard. I'd remember things I hadn't thought about in years. Like the summer Chelsea wanted a family trip. She planned it with Nick, invited everyone but me. Then when it came time to book, she messaged, "Could you help cover the Airbnb? We'll pay you back after." They didn't. They never did. Or the time Nick's car broke down right before my final loan payment. I had saved up for months to pay it off. Finally escaped the interest piling up. But Nick needed it urgently. I gave in. Put the loan on hold another 6 months. That car was wrecked a year later. I remembered how I spent Christmases buying everyone gifts, only to get a $10 candle and a re-gifted mug in return. And then got shamed for acting ungrateful when I didn't fake a big smile. It wasn't just the money. It was the constant reminder that my worth only mattered if it served someone else. If I was useful, I was loved. If I needed something, I was a burden. Then something happened I didn't expect. My older cousin Emily texted me. "Hey, just wanted to say I believe you. I saw the stuff they're posting. It's messed up." I sat staring at the screen. Then she added, "I remember you always being the one to drive everyone, pay for stuff, show up. You don't owe them anything. Proud of you for walking away." I hadn't realized how much I needed to hear that. One message. That's all it took to crack the shame I'd been holding. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't selfish. I wasn't wrong for saying, "No more." Emily's message led to others. My godmother messaged me a few days later, offering to co-sign if I ever wanted to buy a car. A friend from college said, "Let me know if you need help job hunting. I've got connections." Even my high school history teacher, who I hadn't seen in years, commented on one of my posts with, "You always had integrity, Alex. Stay the course." None of them were rich. None of them had fancy advice. But they saw me, and that was enough. The biggest surprise came from Uncle Pete. We hadn't talked in over a decade, but he called me out of the blue. "I heard they tried to drag your name through the mud. I told your mom straight up, if she thinks she can lie to everyone about what you did for that house, she's got another thing coming." Then he added, "My door's open. Come by anytime, even if it's just for a beer in silence." I nearly cried again. Meanwhile, Chelsea kept posting. Nick kept twisting the story. Mom stayed quiet, and I kept building something new. Not flashy, not perfect, but stable, safe. I wasn't ready to confront them yet, but I was ready to stop feeling guilty for walking away. Because what they lost wasn't just money, it was me. And deep down I knew they were starting to feel it. I don't owe you my peace anymore. It was a cold Saturday when the knock came. I wasn't expecting anyone. I just made coffee. My apartment smelled like cinnamon and vanilla. Peace in candle form. I opened the door, and there they were. Standing in a row like ghosts from a life I thought I'd buried. Mom looked tired. She clutched her purse like a lifeline. Nick looked annoyed to even be there. Chelsea had sunglasses on, dramatic as ever. I didn't say anything. Just waited. Mom spoke first. Can we talk? Please. I let them in. Not because I wanted to, but because I wanted to end this once and for all. They sat awkwardly. My apartment was small, intimate. No places to hide. Mom started softly. I didn't come here to fight. I came to tell you that we're sorry. All of us. She looked at the others. Nick rolled his eyes. I looked at her. You sure about that? She nodded. We've been thinking. Maybe we weren't fair to you. Nick jumped in. Oh, come on, Mom. Why are we groveling? He abandoned us. I turned to him. I stopped being your unpaid babysitter. He scoffed. You could have helped. One call. That's all it would have taken. I helped for 5 years, Nick. You think one call fixes what you did? Chelsea finally spoke. This whole thing got out of hand. Maybe we said some things, but... I interrupted. You accused me of stealing. You posted lies. You dragged my name because I stopped letting you use me. She stayed quiet. Mom reached out. I just want my son back. That hurt. Because the real me? She hadn't seen him in years. Only the version she needed, the one who fixed things. I'm not coming back, I said calmly. Tears welled in her eyes. But... you don't get to rewrite this. You don't get to pretend I didn't go broke keeping that house afloat while Nick chased failed business ideas and Chelsea bought new phones. Nick snapped, we're your family. I stood up. No. You were a system I kept running. A machine that ate my energy and gave nothing back. Mom stood too. So that's it? You're just done. I nodded. I still love you. I hope you're okay. But I'm not your backup plan anymore. They left. No hugs. No last looks. Just the sound of the door clicking shut. And silence. Perfect, peaceful silence. A year later, I got promoted at work. Moved into a brighter apartment with more windows. Got a couch I actually loved. Hosted a dinner party with people who asked me how I was, and actually cared about the answer. Mom sends the occasional message. I reply. Politely. Friendly. But I never visit. Nick and Chelsea? Nothing since that day. And I'm okay with that. As I learned something. Family isn't who shares your last name. It's who shows up when things get quiet. It's who doesn't just take. And I'll never again let someone tell me I have to earn my place. In a house I already paid for.